Premier League is boring, fundamentally boring, and we need to wake up to the fact that this is not the best league in the world. We've got a team that is going to win it for 6 times out of the last 7.
Goldbridge seems to be leading this whole the Premier League's boring march. Chief parader, if you will, get the banners and the fucking flags out. The Premier League's predictable and dominated by a juggernaut. Interesting spelling of juggernaut there, but I'm not surprised. It actually sums up the moronic message of that statement. It's boring because the same team wins every year. I almost feel like the idiot. I almost feel stupid having to bring this graphic up. Man United won 6 out of 8 Premier Leagues. They dominated. 8 out of 11, actually, if you extend that. They broke the British transfer record multiple times. Roy Keane from Forest, 1993. Andy Cole from Newcastle, 1995. Ruud van Nistelrooy and Veron, 2001. Ferdinand, 2002. Broke the British transfer record multiple times. 5 times, actually. There wasn't a problem there, though. What was there? As far as I remember. Wasn't a problem there, because, you know, your team was winning the thing. Your team were a massive, powerful force. If only there were a word to, if anything, actually described. Oh, yeah, juggernaut. Juggernaut. I'm going to spell it right, though, this time. Your team dominated the league. It were grand. Let's have a piss up. But when Man City do it, 115, then it's all rigged. He goes on to say the Premier League's not the best league in the world. Firstly, it is, right? I could just disagree there at the end of the video, right? That's all I need to say. But my question's this. Why is the Premier League boring because of one determining factor? The winners. Because there's a repeat winner. Why does that mean the league's boring? Just discarding about the other campaigns of all 19 teams. You may as well just turn on Sky Sports on the final day of the year. 2 minutes left till the full-time whistle and just turn it on. See who lifts the trophy. See if it's boring then. See if the Fav wins it to determine whether it's boring or not. Forget about the other 19 teams and all that shit. Who wins the thing? Is it Bucky's Fav? Because I can tell you now, most teams this year, weirdly, apart from your shit team, have contributed to making this league very exciting, very competitive as well. If we are going to go with this whole mentality Mark's adopted of whoever wins the league makes it boring or not, this has been one of the best leagues in terms of a title race we've ever seen. A title race which is going down to the final whistle of the final day. But it's boring though. It's boring. It's not like Man City pissed it in March or April. And up until, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, Liverpool was certainly in this title race, making up that trio. When was the last time we saw 3 teams like this competing at the highest level for the duration? Obviously now we're here with only 2 teams at the top. Man City could end this league by winning it by less than 3 points from second place. But it's boring. As I said, it's not like they pissed it in March. As far as I'm aware, I've seen nothing from Goldbridge saying about how good this league's been, how good the title race has been. If anything, it's the opposite because it's so boring. It makes you wonder what would happen if Man United were in that top 3 race, but shit, they're not there. They're looking at, oh yeah, 7th. 8th. Talking about the 115 charges, it's definitely relevant, right? I'm not going to dismiss that point. It's relevant, it's a thing, we need to talk about it. But everything, and I mean literally everything, is brought back to this. Mark gets asked what he wants for tea and he brings up 115 to his missus. We get it, you're trying to tarnish City's achievement, put an asterisk next to them all. And listen, I'm not going to come in here and talk about favouritism from referees, to Man United, for example, because I weren't knocking around then, I weren't alive to witness that. But when you've got ex-players from your team coming out saying that he felt referees were more favourable against his side. Do you know what I mean? We can all point the finger. I'm not going to do that in this video. It's just a really stupid and it's really boring. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about the league being boring, apparently. I just spoke about the title race being done in the last game of the season. If Son scored that goal yesterday, would the league have been boring then? Would the league have been boring if we go down to the final game of the season? Even if Arsenal go on to win the season, would the league have been boring then? Because after all, it's just one team who makes the league boring or not. If Arsenal won it on the last day, would that have been boring then? Probably not. But again, if Man United were in there, probably wouldn't have. Let's go through it. Watch this clip.
We've got 3 newly promoted teams that are going to get relegated. If relegation is boring and the title is boring, then you've got a broken brand.
He says the same 3 teams are going down that came up. Like, that's a boring thing. Like, when does that happen? When does that happen? When have we ever seen that? Fair enough, if that's the previous scenario every single year in the Prem, the 3 teams who go up, come back down. That don't happen. This year does not fit the narrative of that. And look at the teams individually. Luton's story, I for one have certainly enjoyed them being in the Premier League. A very positive addition. Did they contribute to it being boring? Obviously, they must be, because the 3 promoted teams have gone straight back down. It must be boring. Luton, Ken Overthrow especially, has offered a really good, different dynamic, in my opinion. They've also given it a go. Like, against some big teams, they've given it a go this year, and I, like many, have enjoyed watching them this year. 95% of people predicted them come rock bottom. Did they? No. Is that boring though? Because they didn't fit what everyone thought they would. Sticking down there with Burnley, many people like myself had Burnley doing quite well this year. And you couldn't label them stupid for doing that. They got 100 odd points last year in the Championship. You would back them to, thrive and excel this season. They kept a lot of players who were in the Prem, familiar with setup. Yeah, they lost a few players, but they were still backable. And they're shit. Seeing Burnley not fit the predictable mould that everyone set for them, finishing maybe, 15th, 16th, kicking on, they're going down again. Shit, rubbish. Less said about Sheffield United the better because they are pony. About as useful as a camel with no hump. Back to the top. Aston Villa making top 4. Top 4. Was that on your boring schedule? Was that on the calendar? If it was, cross it off. Tick. That's been complete. I mean, I did not see that coming. Come on. The superb performance from Emery. Players like Watkins, Martinez, Douglas Luiz, all valid shouts for a team of the season place, definitely. They have been brilliant this year. Boring though. What about teams like Palace recently? Wolves this season. Bournemouth. Fulham. For me, all exciting teams to watch. I've watched these teams this year many times. They are exciting. Teams don't just put 10 at the back anymore. Go for it. Teams like Brentford and Palace have not been yet to the level of last season, perhaps in terms of engagement with the eye watching them, but they're very competitive teams. They definitely contribute to making this league entertaining and competitive. Bournemouth. The success Bournemouth have had is a joke. The stat, which is, was it? Since Areola came in, they were like top 6 or something. It's nuts. He's done such a great job. Solanke's on for 20 goals this year. It is a joke. They are so good and so entertaining. They genuinely are as well. You could argue Fulham aren't entertaining, right? Maybe. I think they are, but Bournemouth certainly. Who saw that coming? I, like many, had them going down. Again, not fitting the grain. That is not boring. And whilst I admit Everton aren't the most expressive, let's say, team to watch an attack, they've had 13 clean sheets this year. What the in terms of, being competitive, up there with the top dogs, that better than City, better than Liverpool. That trio of Pickford, Branthwaite, Tarkowski, watertight at times this year. Really good. Did you see that coming? With how shit Everton were at the back last year? No, I didn't. Newcastle have scored 80 goals this year. Gordon and Isak contributing to genuinely one of the most exciting teams I've seen in the Prem. Along with, Tottenham. Tottenham on Song are a superb watch. It's been great to see what they're doing with fullbacks this year. Postecoglou. I like the bloke. He's a different character as well in the Premier League. I've not even spoken about the managerial performances. I spoke a bit about Areola and Emery. Individual performances from managers, from players that contribute to making this league exciting. Not to mention amazing, thrilling games this year. Also brilliant storylines and moments. Listen, I'm not stupid, right? You get these things every year. You could probably list off every single year's best moments and best performances from teams. But I genuinely do think these outstand the rest. I think this league's been amazing. So many great storylines from different teams. And of course, the main overriding factor is that title race. Having 3 teams there until, 5 weeks ago, going at it for the full season, it was nuts. It was a joke. There was 1 point in between all 3 teams at one point. And I've not even finished. Chelsea have a lad called Cole Palmer, you might have heard of. He's like a diamond in between, in a turd, right, at the moment. Chelsea look rubbish. Admittedly, recently, they've been very good, but this season, massively inconsistent. Palmer's he was on for Golden Boot at one point. 20 goals I think he might break. And he's probably going to win Young Player of the Season. Chelsea are shit. Chelsea are rubbish. They are like one of the least boring teams this season. You cannot predict a Chelsea game. If anything, the same goes for Man United as well, although they actually are boring. Like Man United this season, right, everyone's been laughing at them, even their own fans, because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Like the water coming off Old Trafford. They have genuinely surprised me this year because of how bad they are. If you took every team in the league, 20 teams, I genuinely think 13 or 14 have really surprised me. And I could list them off. I just have listed them off. I don't think you get that normally. There are not many teams this year who have been stale and done fuck all. For example, Nottingham Forest, I don't think I've been particularly excited to watch this season. They've been very good. Sheffield United haven't had really a storyline. Maybe someone like West Ham, who kind of in that middle ground of mid-table, not competing for Europe, but even so, with how kind of uninspiring I think West Ham are to watch, players like Bowen have been electric, arguably team of the season, if it weren't for a Foden or a Cole Palmer shout. Kudus, arguably signing of the season. This league has not been boring. 115, City won it again, so it is. Do comment, please do comment your thoughts, and do like the video if you agreed with anything I said. I'm trying to get 9,000 followers, or subscribers it's on here, so do subscribe. I'm losing my voice. Ta-ta, have a good night, see you later.